The Aerosoft A330 is a very anticipated pending release. The aircraft has been in development for some time now, with a hint it would be released before the end of 2022, still in development to this day. In this video, we're going to take a look at where the development is with the Airbus A330 from Aerosoft and what features we should expect with the release, so let's jump into the video. Before we jump into the video, here's a quick message from our video sponsor ProDeSims, and I forgot, just stick around to the end of the video as well as we discover what aircrafts Aerosoft will be developing next after the 330. A big thank you to ProDeSims for sponsoring this YouTube video. Their products enhance your current flight simulator hardware by turning your flight controls into something closer to the real thing. The team makes different add-ons for flight controls such as Honeycomb, SciTech and Velocity over a variety of different aircraft, including Boeing, BAE, Cessna Citation, VisionJet, TBM, just to mention a few. The team has been staying up with all the latest releases when it comes to aircraft and have new additions to the fleet, such as the E-Jet series throttles, the new Fokker F28 throttles, and also ATR 42 and 72 throttle sets. The current add-on I'm using at the moment is the ProDeSims new dual action Boeing 737 add-on for the Honeycomb Bravo, which features a detent flap and speed brakes. This really improves the immersion and realism of my flights. For Oz Flight Sim viewers, you can use this code AUSFS on checkout for a 15% discount on all ProDeSim products. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can check out their page, and a big thank you to our friends over at ProDeSims for sponsoring this video. The A330 from Aerosoft was announced in very early 2022. The team has started developing on the aircraft before it was announced, but it was March 2022 when we first heard that it was in development. After many development updates, there were a hint that we could see the A330 released before the end of the year of 2022. However, it's been close to 9 months on now since the team predicted the 22 release. Either they were very optimistic about a 2022 release, or there was many more development days ahead in the project, or many features they wanted to add. If you're not familiar with the A330, it's a wide-body airliner from Airbus. It first flew in November 1992 and then went into service in early 1994. Being a wide-body aircraft, the A330 can fly up to distances up to 6,350 nautical miles. The 330 is still in production to this day with over a total of 1,700 orders, and Airbus has delivered over that time at 1,500 of them already. Many airliners have been using the A330 around the globe over that time. 144 current operators with 1,400 plus aircraft are still in service today. The A330 direct competitor is the Boeing 777, the 767 and the 787. The Airbus A330 has been an icon in the skies for the last 3 decades, which makes sense why Aerosoft would want to replicate a highly detailed version of its real-world counterpart. The Aerosoft team did mention that the A330 is by far their largest project to date. This time around, rather looking at developing the A330 as a single product, the team had decided to take on as a platform approach, which means they are committed to supporting the development and extending the A330 for years to come. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but they have confirmed on their forums many times in the past that the A330 release will be cross-platform for Microsoft Flight Simulator on PC and Xbox, and also cloud gaming. And during the development stages, they've been keeping all platforms in mind. What do we know about the A330 from Aerosoft? Well, in the previous versions on another platform such as Prepared 3D, in that aircraft it had been very highly detailed, and it was a great base for the team to work from. The Microsoft version is being developed from the ground up. The 3D model was designed from scratch for the Asobo 3D engine. Various systems were not simply taken over, but fundamentally changed to provide a stable and smooth experience in the new simulator. That being said, we can get a bit of an idea of the level of detail the team is striving for when we take a look at those old previous versions of the A330, but the Microsoft Flight Simulator version, from what we're being told, is going to be even more detailed. Aerosoft has mentioned they haven't fully settled on the feature set when it comes to the A330 at this stage. They are in the process of finalizing all the features with the 330. Other than the obvious, we know that the A330 will have a very detailed 3D model, including detailed animations and a very detailed 3D cockpit, which we are expecting to have many systems modeled, including electrical pressurization, hydraulics, and autopilot, just to mention a few. That being said, Aerosoft have confirmed at this stage that the autopilot will have an independent MCDU and a flight management system, both of these which have been coded from scratch. A very detailed EFB, which we have seen the EFB showcased in some videos from Aerosoft already. From the looks of things, it will aid with many setup functions of the A330. Aerosoft have confirmed that the A330 will be able to use with online ATC platforms such as Pilot Edge, Iveo, and VATSIM. SimBrief flight plans will be able to be imported via the EFB, and even all the weights of the aircraft will automatically have its correct values from SimBrief. The A330 is fully compatible with GSX, and we should expect to see a GSX profile to be shipped with the release. Aerosoft has also mentioned that the A330 will be fully compatible with the newly announced Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 that's in development with no extra costs. Now that we know a little bit about the project of the A330 from Aerosoft, let's take a look at what we know about the development and where it's at. In a post on the new Aerosoft A330 page that launched recently, on the 17th of July, the team did mention that the aircraft is at a stage where almost all planned systems are working and you can get the aircraft from A to B safely. The 3D model looks great, B is a highlight, and many systems are very extensively coded. However, there is also some cases that pop up during the flight testing that are not yet handled correctly by the aircraft systems. Aerosoft did mention this is because crucial systems such as the flight management system and the autopilot had to be coded from scratch within Microsoft Flight Simulator. Aerosoft gave some examples such as the lateral tracking of the ILS approach is not precise enough. Under certain circumstances, it lets the aircraft touch down next to the runway. As well as certain waypoint types, the autopilot does not intercept the following track correctly, but it oscillates around the track. After importing flight plans in the MCDU, there's also performance losses that are noticeable when entering the route manually. However, this does not cause any problems. There's some of the things that Aerosoft is facing when it comes to the 330 development. The team is still working on the current soundscape for the aircraft and usability of the cockpit. At the same time, the team are already working on documentation and preparing tutorial videos in advance, so there is plenty of learning material when the aircraft does release on day one. The next update from the team was on the 10th of August. This was also on the designated A330 website. The A330 currently is undergoing testing. Aerosoft has around 20 testers currently working on the project, putting the A330 through its paces. The team has 285 reported bugs and improvements requested for the development board. 90 of these reported bugs have been fully evaluated and assigned to be processing. Another 29 have been resolved already and are waiting for the next release to be tested, and about 30 bugs have been placed on the low priority list. The remaining batch requires more detail and evaluation before it can be phased into the production process. Aerosoft has placed the current bugs issues into different categories, such as systems visualizations are 39% of the total bugs, system logics is 31% of the total bugs, animations at 13%, and others and everything else is about 12%. The Aerosoft team are now updating the A330 progress regularly on their new 330 website. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out and follow the progress as well as we do. We seem to receive updates every couple of weeks, and from the looks of it, I wouldn't expect to see a release in the next month when it comes to A330. It looks like the team has a few more development days ahead till they achieve the level of detail they are looking for before they will release the A330. We did mention at the top of the video what's in store for the Aerosoft team after they have released the Airbus A330. The team have confirmed over on their forums back in June this year that they will be developing a Neo version of the A330. The team has good information about the aircraft which now they can use. I'm not sure at this stage if any development has started with the new engine option or how long we will see a Neo version of the 330 once the original 330 has been released. In some recent news that has surfaced, Aerosoft received a German government grant to develop 2 new aircraft of the Airbus. The grant has been provided to develop an Airbus A330 Neo, which we just mentioned before, and also an Airbus A321 Neo. This grant that we've talked about is a substantial amount of funds and is part of a video game development funds provided by the German government to promote video game developers. As we know, Aerosoft is based in Germany. I will leave a link in the description below if you'd like to check out the document about the funding for the new aircraft. At this stage, we don't have any extra information from Aerosoft about the Neo A330 or the Neo A321. As always, we will keep you posted when we do hear more. The Aerosoft A330 certainly appears to be a very detailed version of its real-world counterpart, and the feedback provided from the community of the A330 is looking to be a very anticipated release for sure. From the looks of things, we're still going to be waiting a little while before we see the release of the A330 from Aerosoft. Consider subscribing to the channel if you'd like to stay up to date with all the development, as we will keep a close eye on it and keep you posted when we know any more development news. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed a closer look at the A330's development by Aerosoft, and we look forward to seeing you in another video very, very soon.